Alrighty, if you're ambitious but lazy, this video has found you at exactly the right time because, I made my first million when I was 23, and fast forward to today, I've generated over $7.8 billion in sales, and I became one of the youngest sharks at Shark Tank, and it was all because of following these 5 steps. I just wanted to make this video for you guys. So hopefully wherever you are, this video has found you at the right time and you're gonna get something for it. So I'm gonna go for a drive, tell you about it. Alrighty, so the first step is, first of all, you need to make a decision. I see so many people, they're like, I really want to make it. I just lack motivation and I don't know what to do. I don't have the energy, I don't have the motivation to do it. And the reality of it is, those people, they haven't made a decision, because to decide means to cut off. It doesn't mean that you can keep doing what it is that you are currently doing and be the person that you are currently are, right? You have to actually make the decision and cut off the old you. That old alternative, it doesn't even exist anymore. And once you've made that real decision and you stop trying and you actually start doing it, that's when all the decisions that you make, right? You're either feeding the old you or the new version. And that new version is exactly what it is you need to focus on. You need to focus on the person and having the traits that the person that is capable of hitting your goals, how they act, what are their characteristics, right? What are their daily actions that they take? And what would it look like if you were already that person that was capable of hitting all your goals? That's who it is that you need to be right fucking now. You can't just wait and wait for something to change. You actually have to make the decision, and it needs to be life or death. You need to be like, I'm sick and tired. Like, I've had enough of fucking being where I am right now, and I'm gonna do whatever it is that I need to do to get out of this. And it all comes down to that simple moment of you actually just clocking that and making that decision. And until you do that, nothing's gonna change. Because most people, they're interested and they are not committed. They're not actually committed to going out and getting their goals, and that's why they say they're lazy. They're not. They're interested in it and they're not committed in it. And that's the biggest change that you need to make. That's the step number 1, is making the actual decision. And then so the next thing is, once you've actually made the decision, now what it is that you need to do is you need to use whatever fuel that you've got. I see so many people, they're like, how do you stay motivated, right? Well, the thing is with motivation, it fuels from an energy source. And you can either fuel that from pleasure and just really wanting to create a better life for yourself and the people that rely on you. And then the other way is to use pain. And pain is a very clean fuel source, and it burns a lot hotter than pleasure. And what I mean specifically by this is, you need to think about what it would feel like if you weren't able to ever live up to your potential. If you were never able to create the life that it is that you wanted, you were never able to hit your goals, what would that look like? Because the way that I think about it is, imagine that I'm going about my life, and at the end of my life, I meet another Sabri, and I meet the Sabri that was capable of hitting all his goals, and he actually did it. He lived up to his potential. And then I imagine my current self meeting that person without hitting any of my goals, doing any of the stuff that I want to do, and then having to face that person front on and come to terms with, that is the Sabri that I could have been, but instead I chose to make up all of these excuses as to why I couldn't make that reality actual reality. And that for me is very, very painful. And it's that intersection, realistically, between pain and pleasure, that's the thing that motivates me more than anything else. So it's not, you need to find whatever that fuel source is for you. If it's pain, then use it, right? Don't think that it needs to be some big, magical, positive thing in the back of your mind. Use whatever it is that you've got. There's no shame in using pain to also shame yourself into action and doing the things that's required, because this shit is gonna be hard. And you don't want to always be stretching for things that you find difficult or things that don't motivate you. You need to find what it is that motivates you more than anything else, and you need to tap into that, and you need to rub your face in that every single day to make it a reality. So you're like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to be that other person that doesn't hit my goals. Like, it's just way too painful for me. And that's the way, right, that you're gonna get it done at the end of the day. You gotta make that decision first about the fuel that it is that you're gonna use in order to attain your goals. And if you feel that pain, everybody tells you to numb it, to ignore it, to not tap into it. I'm telling you, tap into that stuff. It burns white hot, and that shit will motivate you to go out there and get after it. That's step number 2, is using whatever fuel that you've got. Alrighty, next up is step number 3. This is something that I see very few people ever do, and that is defining the actual dream life that it is that you want, right? Oftentimes when I meet people, I meet business owners, I meet people to come and pitch me on Shark Tank, or, you know, my clients, and I ask them, okay, what does the dream outcome look like? Where are we trying to get to? And they're like, yeah, I just want to grow my business. I just want to make more money. It's like, okay, cool. How much more money do you want to make? And they're like, oh, I'm at $1 million. I'd love to be at 2 million. And immediately when I hear that figure, I know that they haven't really clearly defined it. Because one, it's a round number. Never trust round numbers. That's the first thing. It's like that number, if it's a round even number, that means that it's somebody else's number and it's not yours. Because whenever you really get clear on what it is that you want, the dream life that you're trying to build, now you're going to know precisely exactly how much money that you're going to need in order to attain that lifestyle. So what do I mean? I often got told in the beginning of my whole entrepreneurial journey is to design your dream life. Cool, bro. What does that even mean? It's so vague. Well, the way that I found to make it real and to actually boil it down into something that's actionable is to think about, what does the dream day look like, right? What time do I wake up? What do I do first thing in the morning? What am I spending my time on? What time am I eating lunch? What am I eating? Who am I eating it with? What do I do in the afternoon? What does my evening routine look like? What's like my Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday look like? What does my weekend look like? And actually define what a dream day and what a dream week looks like. Then you're gonna get clear, okay, I'm gonna live in this house. This is the kind of car I'm gonna drive. I'm gonna have a private chef, whatever your dream life is for you. Then what you're gonna do is, you're gonna go figure out exactly how much those things cost. How much is a suburb that you wanna live on? Go into realestate.com, go to Zillow, whatever country that you are, there's real estate websites. Go and find out how much it would be to either rent a house in those areas or the mortgage to buy a house, right? Then what you can do to take it a step further is just drive to that suburb and park on your favorite street and just sit there and imagine what it would be like to live there. Then look at jobs online and see, okay, I want to get a private chef. How much am I going to pay one of those guys? How much is my fuel expenses going to be? Where's my office going to be? Am I going to be working remotely? And literally write down every single component of what it's going to cost you to live that dream lifestyle. And then wherever you're at, right, the difference in between wherever you're at and that lifestyle of how much that's going to cost you and what your monthly burn's going to be, that increase is now the new target. That's what it is that you need to do in order to go out and live your dream lifestyle. But you have defined it. You have very clearly defined exactly where it is that you want to go. Look, if you don't know down to that level of detail exactly where it is that you want to go, then I can tell you, you will never get there, because you first need to see it in your mind in order to hold it in your hand. And don't wish for a better future, plan for it, write it down, get very, very specific with exactly what that looks like. And that's step number 3, is define the dream life by first defining the dream day, which brings us to step number 4. And this is all about engineering your environment, right? If you're watching this, the chances are you know that things could be better and you aren't where you're not where you want to be, right? And so if you're not where you want to be, you need to first engineer an environment that is going to be conducive of you getting to where it is that you want to go. And most often than not, people have a whole bunch of people in their life or other forces that are judging them and they're holding them back. If you were capable, if the current version of yourself was capable of hitting all your goals, then you already would have hit them and they wouldn't be goals anymore. And in order to hit your goals and become that person that's capable, you need to change your environment. So you want to have a look at what is your routine like? What time are you going to bed and when are you waking up? You want to change that dramatically. If you're going to bed late and you're waking up late, then completely change that scenario. If you're waking up at 7 and you think that's okay, wake up at 5 o'clock, right? Change the style in which you dress at. Change which city that you live in. Change your look. Shave your head. Do something that is dramatic, that cuts you off from the old version of yourself, because that's your environment. And you need to really, really control that thing. If you're hanging out with people that you've been hanging out with and you're still not where it is that you want to go, then cut them off, right? And go find new people to hang out with. Or don't hang out with anyone and just go ghost for a few months and just listen to audiobooks and watch YouTube videos and bury yourself in actually making a better life. But you need to change something. If you want to change, then you got to change. Don't think that you can be doing all the same stuff in the same environment that you're in right now and that you're going to just magically change your life. That's not how it works. You first need to make the change that you want to become. That's how it works. If you're working out at a dingy gym full of broke bums, change that shit. Go work out somewhere else. Run in a different place. Go work in cafes and in hotel lobbies, in places that just smell like money and smell like affluence. That is going to change your environment rather than working in a dingy room or working in a shitty office. These are all things that you can do for free. Go work from a public library, but you need to make a clear change. Engineering your environment is a massive hack. For me, when I was 18 years old, I literally packed my bags and I moved to the other side of the world. I moved to London from Byron Bay because I knew that I wasn't where I wanted to be. I had to change something dramatic, and I couldn't get any more of a dramatic change than moving to literally the other side of the world. And that's step number 4. Engineer your environment. And this brings us to step number 5, the 5th and final point. You need to build unstoppable momentum. And the way that you do that is by tracking your progress and feeding yourself, building the momentum by tracking all the little wins, everything that it is that you're doing. Every morning that when you say that you're going to wake up at 5 o'clock and you wake up at 5 o'clock, you're going to mark that down on a piece of paper. Put a line on it, right? Once you cranked out 5 of those, put a line through all of them. And you'd be like, okay, shit, like I'm building this muscle. I'm actually doing this stuff. I'm keeping the promises that I made to myself. Every time you eat a clean meal, every time you get a workout in, every time you make a cold call, every time you post a piece of content, every time you have an uncomfortable conversation that you know that you need to have, you mark it down. They're the little wins. They're the momentum. And momentum doesn't start by having some big monumental win. You stack one win at a time. And the only way to brainwash yourself to become successful is to show yourself that you're capable of that. And the way that we do that is by tracking these micro like little wins along the way. Another thing to do that's helped me a lot is plan tomorrow today. Every single day at 5 o'clock, I have a calendar reminder in my calendar to plan the next day, right? It allows me to take stock of all the wins that I had this day, have a look and go, okay, cool, what do I need to get done today? It just gets you on offense straight out of the gate. Then when I wake up the next morning, I'm not thinking about what it is that I need to do today to get a win. I already know what that is, and I can just wake up and I can violently execute on it. The biggest thing is stop thinking that edutainment, right? Which is a lot of these videos on YouTube that you're watching to get motivation or watch some guru online, and you're getting a dopamine hit and feeling like that is the thing that's going to give you the little bit of the fire that you need to go out there and get your goals. Most often than not, that's just mental masturbation, right? If you are going to continue watching YouTube videos, here is a rule. For every single video that you watch, you are going to write down one thing that you're going to take action on. And you must take action on it before going and watching all these other videos. Because I see so many people that think, you know, educating themselves online is actually getting them closer to their goals. That's the biggest load of fucking shit ever. The only way that you're gonna get closer to your goals is by taking actual action. And the only time really that you want to go out there and educate yourself on something is when you have a bottleneck, you have some constraint in your life, in your business that you're trying to improve to get you to the next level. But that's not what most people do. They just constantly end up in a loop of educating themselves and then never taking action on nothing. That's not what it is that you want to do. So you're going to keep watching videos, make sure that you write down one thing and you take action on that one thing in order to give yourself permission to watch the next video. So this is how you stop being lazy and actually get it done. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that wherever in the world it finds you, that it saves you a whole lot of heartache that I had to go through in order to figure this shit out. Stay dangerous, take action, and I'll see you in the next one.